Former flat earthers, what made you realize the earth is in fact, not flat? Hey, something I can finally answer. Not me but my good friend and roommate fell into the flat earth black hole while in university. Started out as a joke, but then he just fell into it more and more. Eventually I challenged him to do an experiment to figure it out ourselves. We went to opposite ends of a big inlet, bay. He had calculated the supposed curvature of the Earth and figured out that from the distance between us, me at one end and him at the other, we should have a few meters of water between us. We both took some powerful green lasers that he had smuggled back from China in years past. While on the phone I would shine my laser somewhat into the air, watching to avoid planes and helicopters. Then now that he could see me, he would shine his laser up into the sky and slowly lower it until it disappears, or just me. If it hit me, the Earth was possibly flat. Well, it disappeared 3 or so meters above my head every time. He accepted it and we moved on, besides a brief time where he thought it was refracted from the water. Thumbs up, thumbs up. I think I was about 3 when I first saw a globe, and had it explained to me. As someone who entertained but never genuinely believed the idea and went pretty deep down the rabbit hole, it's distance/time. On a flat Earth map, circling the North Pole should be an extremely short trip, while circling the South Pole would be the longest route on the planet. The further south you get, the further apart things should be and the longer trips would take. The flat Earth map really falls apart there. Once they start arguing that time works differently based on location, you know there's no way to justify the argument. Edit. Okay, I get it, time works differently in different locations sometimes, but every one of you fuckers that pointed that out knows it doesn't apply to my example enough to explain things. Didn't flat earthers do experiments to prove their point that ended up disproving it? Then of course continued believing what they wanted to anyway. In the immortal words of Real Housewives star Bethany Frankel, it's not about what it's about. I don't think it's really about the Earth being flat. I think it's about something deeper, like questioning deeply held beliefs or distrusting society something. I think my favorite recorded flat earther interaction was when Elon Musk tweeted at the Flat Earth Society and asked them why they believed the Earth was flat when we could plainly see that Mars is round. They responded that unlike the Earth, Mars has been observed to be round. What about the one where someone asked, how come all the other planets are round but not Earth? Then someone replied with, the Earth is not a planet. I got a tattoo about a year ago. The guy was highly rated in tattoo and his photorealistic style was exactly what I was looking for to commemorate my mother's passing 20 years prior. While he is setting up, he puts on the TV and the first thing that comes on is a YouTube channel about flat Earth theories. What followed was the wildest 4 hours I have ever had, strapped into a chair with a man going at my arm with a device that stabs my skin hundreds of times per second. What was craziest about him was he had his pilot's license. He flies an airplane. When he goes up, he can clearly see the curvature of the Earth. As he explained everything, though, it kind of made sense why he would believe it. I can't remember specifics, but I came to realize that all his points would make perfect sense if you were applying them to making 3-dimensional art on a 2-dimensional plane. It was pretty fascinating. The tattoo ended up pretty sick too. He gave me a discount at the end because I guess no one actually listens to his rants patiently. Edit. To clarify, the tattoo artist was the flat earther. Also edit to add, I have only ever been in an airplane twice in my life and I barely remember either. I doubt you'll find many, if any, reformed flat earthers. For people like that who are so entrenched within their ideology, the flat earth isn't just something they believe, it's who they are. They have flat earth friends, listen to flat earth podcasts, watch flat earth YouTube, and wear flat earth clothes to their flat earth meetings. Even if deep down someone like that had an epiphany and realized that they were wrong, imagine how hard it would be to reject all of these relationships, the community and the friends that are held together because of that one common belief. It's similar to why it's so hard for people to leave cults or extremist religious or political groups. My ex-husband is a flat earther. Literally nothing you can say to him will make him think otherwise. Including that damn 15-degree drift. He acknowledges that he doesn't think like everybody else but insists that everybody else is wrong. I can't tell you the countless hours that I wasted in YouTube rabbit holes with him explaining the logistical ways the Earth is flat, and that there is an ice wall encapsulating us to prevent the oceans from pouring over. They are a different breed of people. Edit, a word. Second edit, holy cow, this blew up. Now 90% of my karma is due to a comment about my crazy ex-husband who y'all seem super intrigued by. To answer a few questions, he has had a court-appointed mental evaluation but refused to get any more help. He has not been diagnosed with any kind of schizophrenia, but I'm almost positive he does have it. Also, to everybody telling me how patient I am, I wish you were right. I gave up eventually because there was no winning. I sometimes wonder if I had pushed harder if he would have snapped out of it. But I know deep down he won't. I'm trying to keep up with comments, but there's a lot and I have 3 young ones. Yikes. I honestly couldn't have married my wife if she didn't believe in science. You're asking the wrong group of people. You'll only find people who make fun of flat earthers here. I have an acquaintance I met in the Navy who joined specifically so he could see that the Earth was flat while at sea. Every day he would chart the ship's location, speed, heading, etc. a few times a day so he could make a map of their path. Ultimately he realized that the path the ship was taking would be impossible if the Earth was flat based on the distance they were traveling versus their speed. When he finally got skeptical of the Earth being flat, his LPO went topside with him and pointed out the curvature by giving him binoculars and explaining that if the Earth was flat he should be able to see the land they were making for. He couldn't see anything off the horizon. After that he was convinced. Edit, since this got some traction, he didn't just take a cruise because he was convinced that if he wasn't part of the crew the bridge crew would lie to him since they would be paid off by the government. Also his LPO tried to show him the curvature of the Earth more than once, but until he realized that the ship couldn't travel the way it was traveling if the Earth was flat, he was convinced that the curvature was just an illusion. Dude ended up re-enlisting and is still in the Navy. He's a very successful machinist mate, and a really good sailor. He now believes the Earth is a globe. I'm stuck on the guy joining the Navy to specifically observe the Earth being flat.